Well, this is totally not Danzig, and you're listening to the Shred Shack.
Greetings, folks. I'm Dan Mack.
And this is Chris Mack.
Welcoming you to episode 103 of the Shred Shack podcast, your premier source of news and uninformed yet heavily biased opinions pertaining to all things heavy metal, airing bi-weekly on iTunes, Mixcloud, and Google Play for now, as well as on YouTube at youtube.com/theshredshack and youtube.com/adamanttemplum. Let's get started with some old business. I don't have the button queued up, so give me a second.
Fail gunner.
Already starting off with the bat.
Old business is old business, and new business is new business.
So, old business.
Old business. So an appeals court has rejected the argument of former Ghost members that the judge who ordered the dismissal of their lawsuit against the band's leader, Tobias Forge, had a conflict of interest in overseeing the case. An appeals court has now determined that the plaintiffs had failed to demonstrate an actual conflict of interest. In the decision, the court wrote that in Sweden, there is a constitutional freedom of association, which means that all citizens, even judges, have the right to belong to organizations. Now, if you remember what we talked about before, the argument here from the band members was that the judge had a conflict of interest because himself and Tobias Forge are both members of the Swedish Freemasons.
We do.
Yes.
Do.
They make Steven Gutenberg a star.
Yes, they do. But yeah, so sucks to be them, I guess. I'm sure they're still going to continue finding ways to
try
to pursue it. But
it was probably a stretch to begin with.
Yeah.
You know,
but
because the funny thing is, I mean, that's probably still a rather large organization. They probably don't even know each other.
Yeah.
That each other was a member of it. I mean,
it's like, hey, you're that guy from that thing that I don't recall.
Yeah. So.
I recall your face, but nothing else about you. So, we got another thing for old business.
Yes. Pledge Music having more problems. We've discussed this before, but now this time it seems that it's affecting a band of note, or more note, like a bigger band. This one being specifically Queensryche. So what they have said is a Facebook post, or a post that Facebook post. It is with collectively heavy hearts that we are writing to inform you that we have been bamboozled by the people at Pledge Music. The platform informed some people that they were having money troubles, but we have now also been informed that they do not have the monies that were pledged to Queensryche. This means that manufacturing nor shipments can be fulfilled. We have been lied to for months and months by various people at Pledge and have now turned this entire mess over to our attorneys. As a pledger, please get to your credit card company now and demand a refund. We are not alone in this matter, as it has been publicly made aware that many other artists have been affected as well. We are truly sorry, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, and I after we talked about this last time, and I had mentioned, that one of the bands that I had recently pledged money to was going through Pledge Music. I was curious. I went to their page, and there's this huge picture that just says, we're getting cheated out of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I even showed it to you as a see, look, shit, dude.
Yeah,
this
like
sucks.
shit's going down.
Yeah, like there's some serious shit going down, and unfortunately, it's keeping people from keeping their end of the of things going. Keeping people from doing what they're supposed to be doing with the money, or giving back to the community that provided for them in some way. It's really shitty.
Wow. Okay. Here they followed up their post with another one, and it says there seems to be some confusion about our posting of the morning that they posted it. Pledge, nothing that was ordered will be fulfilled. Nothing. Pledge does not have the money that was pledged to them. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And Thus, there is no money for manufacturing costs, and we are out $70,000. Pledge is no longer taking any campaign pledges for any band whatsoever, and they are not responding to us. Apparently, they have money problems. Please request a refund from your credit card company. If you are having problems with your credit card company, you can contact Pledge Music Lawyer, and they gave out the lawyer's information.
Damn. That's...
Yeah. And they also made sure that please note that The Verdict, which is their new album coming out, will still be released on March 1st via all other outlets, including our label, Century Media, Amazon, etc., etc.,
Oh, yeah,
etc.
thankfully, because I'm about to pre-order that shit.
Yeah, I was going to say only pre-orders through Pledge will be affected.
God,
I was going to say I pre-ordered mine. I already got a delivery date, and I believe it is next week.
Yeah, well, it should be next week because
it's the first, right?
Yeah. It's next
Friday.
But damn, that really sucks. And again, and we talked about it the day of when we first reported on it, and that does put a damper on these kind of sites that do help out bands.
Yeah, I know.
This is kind of a big deal because this kind of stuff, this kind of stuff is notorious in especially in like the world of video games. Like, people pay money for certain video games to be made, and like nothing ever gets made out of it.
Right.
And for this, I mean, that's usually on a case of the person who's making the game, but this is a matter of the site itself, the people who are supposed to be the middleman being fuck ups.
Yeah.
And that sucks. So let's move on to some new business.
And this is new business, and we do not discuss new business until next quarter.
Okay. So let's talk about new album releases, and it's kind of funny because your first album is actually one of the ones I'm considering for top 3.
Really?
Yes.
The first one?
The Ghost Next Door.
Oh, that's you who wrote that.
That's me. I wrote that?
It's in blue.
I didn't. Oh, shit.
I didn't
I
listen
wrote
to that. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, shit. I wrote that. My bad. Okay. I am.
Wow, buddy.
am out of it.
Wow, buddy.
In all fairness, I was in a car accident 2 weeks ago, and I had a procedure on Friday. So I'm.
Oh, I know.
And I was having heffalump and woozle dreams. It was quite trippy. So
were there many steps and columns?
I think there were. There was definitely something going on. There were shapes. there were things happening. It was weird. But I had a procedure on Friday, so I'm still coming out of it. I still have tape on my nose right now from the procedure. But anyway, I'm gonna let you start off since you have more, and then I'll do mine.
All right, we'll save the one that we have together for last.
Yeah.
All right. Well, first one up. They were streaming this over the weekend. The new Candlemass record, the Door to Doom.
I thought they were like done making records, or that's what I heard.
No, this is their first record, I believe. Where is it? Yes, this marks the recording comeback of newly returned singer Johan Lundqvist.
Okay.
So this is their first album with their former frontman, and
one of their former frontmen.
Huh?
One of their former frontmen.
One of their former frontmen. But I listened to it, and it is super good. Like, wow. I'm not very familiar with Candlemass's back catalog whatsoever, so I went into this not knowing what to expect at all.
Okay.
And I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I know that Pat and Reese jockey them a lot. So.
Yeah, well, I think they're actually picking them for their top 3, so I won't go into too much detail on this one because of that reason. But I think you would probably really like them because they're like a doom.
I have one or two of their albums.
They're a doom metal band.
Yeah.
But their current singer sounds kind of like JB from Grand Magus.
Really?
Yeah. It was so good. It's not like you're like when I think of doom metal, I think of something that's a little bit slowed down and very sludgy and stuff. This one was a little bit faster paced. Still in the doom like tempo wise, but it was just clean production. Everything sounded amazing, and it was just really good songs. And there's a song here called Astrolos, the Great Octopus, which features a very special guest guitar solo by Tony Iommi of Black Sabbath. So you know that they have some kind of credibility if they get the Godfather of metal to play a note on their
himself. But,
so that was definitely worth a listen to.
Okay.
Definitely worth a listen to. All right, what else do I got here?
You got Overkill.
Overkill, the new Overkill album came out, and I don't want to say unfortunately because that makes it sound like it's bad, but the thing about Overkill is that they haven't really changed their sound in 30 years, and it's not a bad thing.
It's the AC/DC of metal, basically.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, all their albums are good, but the thing is you can't really say much outside of that because they don't really stray from the path at all.
No.
You know, and we've talked many times on this podcast about the modern day production of thrash metal being absolutely pristine and sounds amazing, and this is no exception.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds incredible. You know, when you have musicianship like you have with the guys at Overkill or any kind of thrash metal band where you want to hear every single note, to have that clarity now, it makes it something special. And it's just they're bludgeoning, they're over the top in your face, but it's perfect in every single way. You know, they're one of those bands that I think we've had this conversation a couple of times where, you know, in order for us to talk more about them, they need to either be straying, like doing something completely different, or just be really, really bad.
Yeah.
You know?
And at this point, I really don't think they can pull off a bad album. You know, they've had their time where they did stray from the path and they did slow down a little bit and they started doing. They are, if you really listen to a lot of their stuff, they do have a very heavy Black Sabbath influence because there are a lot of breakdowns in their stuff that have that dinosaur stomp sound. And there was a time where they did slow down and got a little bit more into that influence. And some of that is still prevalent today, but definitely not to its same extent. It's straight up just.
Oh yeah, they are full bore and they are all in your grill.
Yeah.
And Bobby Blitz still sounds incredible.
Yeah.
You know.
Gargling battery acid.
Yeah, it's again, like, I wish I had more to say. It's just that, like, you're going into an Overkill record, you know what to expect, and you're getting what you expect.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing. You know, I just wish I had something more to contribute to it, but that's what you get.
Yeah, of course.
Next up for me, and fortunately enough it came in just in time for the podcast, was the newest release from Dream Theater, Distance Over Time.
Yeah, I thought you said that was coming next week.
Yeah, I got notice from Amazon it was supposed to come on Tuesday, but then it was delivered yesterday. So like I said, just in time for the podcast.
If you order it now, actually, I think it says it comes, they are sending it next week.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was going to pre-order it because it's out of that, Queensryche and Overkill is the cheapest one right now. So,
really?
Yeah.
That's good. Well, yeah, because I love Amazon because what they do is, like, you buy it or you order it at a certain price, and if they ship it and it's cheaper, you get that refund, which is always cool to get, like, a couple extra bucks back.
That's always cool.
But Dream Theater, back to form, I would say, after The Astonishing. The Astonishing was a little...
grandiose.
A little grandiose, a little big for them. Not that they failed at it. It's just that it was just a little too much to swallow in one bit, especially because it was a double album with a huge concept. And I think the issue I had with The Astonishing was that there are multiple characters in the story, but there's
just James LeBray.
Yeah, there's no different voices.
Yeah.
So you don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, usually when you have a high concept album like that, a la Arion, I prefer to have different voices portray the different characters.
Yeah, and Dream Theater is not a small band. They could probably pull off getting some extra singers in there. So.
Yeah, that was just a little lackluster in my opinion. But we're back to form now. We're into like single album format here. A little bit shorter songs, but definitely not lacking in punch. James Abree, his voice hasn't changed in 20 years, whatsoever. So the good thing about Dream Theater, what they're doing now is they're getting heavier in sound because I think John Petrucci's playing more on the 7-string guitar, but it's not heaviness for the sake of heaviness. It's more of just expanding the sonic landscape of the band, and they're not trying to match bands nowadays, or the older bands like Metallica and Megadeth are down-tuning to match up with their lead singer's voice, who can't go as high anymore.
Gotcha.
James Abree does not have that problem.
Okay.
So they're like I said, expanding the sonic landscape of their music, but because they want to, not because they have to.
So kind of like where they went with Train of Thought, but even heavier.
No, I still think Train of Thought was a little bit heavier.
Gotcha.
Train of Thought had a lot of really heavy riffs on there, and there's a lot of good stuff here too. But there's a lot of what you expect from Dream Theater. So there's a lot of guitar flurries, a lot of acoustic guitars here and there, and Jordan Root is going absolutely nuts on occasion. So, but I'll probably delve a little bit more into this one because it will definitely be in the top 3 for myself this month.
Gotcha. Okay, so my one pick that I flubbed a second ago was The Ghost Next Door, A Feast for the Sixth Sense. And it's a band formed by former Skin Lab and Sacrilege BC member Gary Wendt. I listened to this album twice. It kind of sounds like a cross between modern day Alice in Chains. Got that heaviness. Take Alice in Chains from their self-titled album to today, like that kind of heaviness for the sake of heaviness, kind of a little bit slow, and cross it with a little bit of Judas Priest in the 70s.
Okay.
So we're talking like Sad Wings of Destiny era. Even the vocals, which is done by Gary Wendt himself, even tread on Rob Halford territory. Like when Rob Halford hits the grit, not the high notes, but the grit that Halford does, it hits on that territory. It sounds really good, really close. It's not as heavy as Skin Lab was. But it's more grooves, more melodic moments, especially in songs like American Nightmare. But there's that discordance, like I said, for Alice in Chains and whatnot. Perhaps too heavy for modern radio, but definitely a good listen. And they're vying for my top three. My top 3 for February right now is a little bit tough because a lot of good stuff came out in February. I actually just yesterday finished going through February. Because Friday was new release day, and I've been pretty much laid up in bed for the last 2 days. So I was like, okay, well, fucking go through the list of all the new releases. And right now, I'm having a hard time picking like what I want to be in the top 3 because so much good came out, and this is definitely among them.
Right.
So, yeah. Speaking of good things that came out in February, and I say good just because I can't say much more about it in the same way that we said the same thing about Overkill. Avantasia, Moonglow. We both listened to that album. It's Avantasia. It's Tobias Sammet. Tobias has not changed much in decade and a half. It's been a lot of the same, but not for bad reasons. I like the album. I like the guest spots. Unfortunately, I feel like I've heard it all before with Avantasia.
Yeah.
It's kind of why it's like with Arion. You know it's Arion playing guitar. His guitar work is always the same.
Yeah, it's very signature.
It's very, very signature. But the thing is, his work tends to be different. He's never prior to the Source. He's not written a song that sounded like Everybody Dies.
Right.
There's always differences in his music. Whereas with Avantasia, I feel like it's strictly it's that traditional power metal, and it doesn't stray enough from it for me to really say like, wow, this is groundbreaking. This is awesome. Like it's Avantasia. I like it. It's good. You know?
Yeah.
So
I felt this. I feel the same way about Devin Townsend. Like the last couple Devin Townsend project records were kind of sounding a little bit stale. Like not bad in any way, but just like you knew what you were getting when you got a Devin Townsend record.
yeah.
But he released a video
The Genesis,
for
right?
the Genesis, and oh my God, is that all over the place?
Yeah.
Like, I think he was describing it as that one song kind of encapsulates what the rest of the album is going to sound like in one song. And again, it is all over the board.
Yeah.
And it makes me very excited for this next Devin Townsend record because, like I said, like Transcendence was a little bit just, too much like Sky Blue, which was a little too much like Epic Cloud, and so on and so forth. Like they were just starting to feel and sound a little bit the same. This one feels fresh and exciting. So I think like a band like Devin Townsend or a band like Avantasia and Overkill needs something like that to kind of break away from their mold, but I just don't know what they can do, considering that Devin Townsend has done so much that he can kind of pull from all his influences.
And Devin Townsend can do plenty. Like he's run the gamut of styles that he can try anything he wants to pretty much, and I'm sure fans will lap it up.
Yeah.
So he can do that. Whereas I feel like bands like Overkill, Avantasia,
They kind of pigeonhole themselves.
Yeah, they kind of pigeonhole themselves. Because I like the last track on the Moonglow album is cover of Maniac, which is which is fun. It's cheeky and fun and everything, but like it's in the same vein as when Ed Guy covered what's that fucking Falco song?
Rock Me Amadeus.
Rocky Amadeus. It's cheeky and fun. You guys can pull that kind of stuff off, but it doesn't expand you guys. It doesn't expand you musically. It's just for a good cheap laugh, pretty much. It's not expanding your sonic landscape.
Yeah.
So, but again, the album was good. It was definitely a great album, but it's more of the same, and I don't know if with the upside to this one was one or two different guest spots.
Hansi's song is very good.
Hansi appearing, Candice Knight appearing, that was always great. Jeff Tate sounded really good on this album. He sounded like old school Jeff Tate on this, so he sounded really good.
Jørn Landay's on it.
Jørn Landay's always on it. Jørn Landay's always on it. Bob Catley's always on there, and like there's like one or two other people that are always like it's like at this point it's like Ed Warby playing drums for Arion.
Yep.
It's like Mike Mills appearing on an Arion album. It's like you're always gonna expect it, and usually like I'd say 95% of the time you're okay with it because it's good, because the musicians that he picks are great musicians. So, but yeah. I also wanted to mention the new Archer Nation album because I picked that up as well.
And they reposted your tweet.
They reposted my tweet and because I said I was looking forward to seeing them on the 8th, and they're playing at Bonds, which I'm like I have to go to Bonds, so I would have preferred them to go
Fitzgerald's.
Yeah, I mean it's easier for me personally, but. But whatever.
Well, then you start booking the shows, Dan.
Whatever, but whatever. They're coming around again, and I'm excited because last time they came around, all they did, like except for one track, was play the entire new album.
Nice.
They played the whole new album last time plus one old track. This time I'm hoping that they play a little bit of a mix. But the new album sounds fantastic. I'm really digging it. I posted up on our Twitter page, which if you haven't followed our Twitter page, Shred Shack HME, for Heavy Metal Entertainment, if you haven't figured that out yet.
I did not figure that out, but
Okay,
thank you.
You're welcome. HME is a Heavy Metal Entertainment. But I posted up one of their songs as my song of the day a few days ago, which is probably one of the best songs on the album, Division. But they are such a good band. Still with that same James Hetfield fronting Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath era, Black Sabbath style, and just kicking that ass. I love it. And I'm gonna keep listening to it until the show, and then keep listening to it thereafter because I'm gonna be so pumped. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's good shit right there.
I gotta get you to hear it. So
Yes.
so there was one or two other albums that I listened to in full, but I didn't write down anything for them. But the new album from Demon Head. Which is kind of I think they're called Diabolical Rock, as they call themselves.
Nice.
And it's really fucking good. So I didn't know what to expect because again, a band named Demon Head, you expect many different things, but they were great. And I also listened to a band named Soen, Soen, Lotus. That was the name of the album.
Isn't one of the former members of Opeth is in that band? I think it's the drummer.
Okay, well, it's a great album. I gotta listen to it again, but from what I was listening to it yesterday, it was definitely very, very, very good. I mean, again, I can't say much more about it just because I only took one listen to it, and I was kind of dazing in and out, but it was good. So yeah, I actually listened to new stuff. Go with me.
Well, I hope you're ready for March. March is looking pretty sweet as well.
Well, March 1st, Queensryche.
We got Queensryche. I got the two albums that are being released by Demon Hunter coming in. We got that. Children of Bodom's the week after that. Fallujah's on the 15th. Nothing much on the 22nd that I'm familiar with. And then, of course, the 29th of March is the Devin Townsend record, Empath. Yeah. And I'm actually very much considering picking up the Mark Morton solo record, Aesthetic, because I listened to not only the Chester Bennington song, but he has Miles Kennedy sing a song for him, and that song is really good.
Cool.
So definitely considering picking that one up.
Cool. All right. So what else have we been listening to this week?
All right. Well, let's go to my Instagram page here for the albums of the day. Just because I've been so into that recently, and Dan graciously gave me access to the Twitter account. So albums of the day are posted by this guy right here. So
you post the albums of the day. I do songs of the day when I actually sit down and can listen to music.
All right, so let's go through it. I listened to some Tesseract, both Altered State, which is the first album I got into them with, and then Polaris, which was their release from I think 2016 or 17, whichever one. No, it was like 2015. Anyway, Serpentine Dominion, which is the side project of George Corpse Grinder and Adam D from Killswitch Engage.
Yes.
That is a sweet record. I believe that is our Pokemon themed or Game Boy themed.
That came from that
top
video.
3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Enslaved in Times. Because we talked about the Life of Agony album, River Runs Red, because they are continuing the storyline, I went back and listened to River Runs Red, and man, that is such a good record. So good. Seven Dust Animosity, just for a little bit more nostalgia factor here. You got Catatonia, The Fall of Hearts, and The Agonist. I think is the last record before Alyssa left. For shits and giggles, I listened to some Death Clock out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Because that, like, I remember when like the show was on and the albums came out, and they were just so good.
Yeah.
You went to the show with us too, right?
I was there.
Yeah.
I saw that. It was awesome.
Of course, we got Avantasia's Moonglow. I doubled down on some God Forbid one day with Gone Forever and Earth's Blood. Doubled down on Nightwish and After Forever for Woman Crush Wednesday. Floor Jansen.
I saw the Exordium EP on there.
Yep, the Exordium EP and Endless Forms Most Beautiful, the last Nightwish record. And then, of course, finish off the week with Hatebreed, Perseverance, and Protest the Hero, Volition.
Yeah. So basically, you listen to like 20 minutes of Hatebreed and then.
Pretty much. I mean, I only listened to Hatebreed that one day. And I think I went through the album 3 times during my workout.
Yeah.
It's like
only
my workout
3
wasn't
times?
that long.
Only 3 times.
But I also was able to finally get to CD Exchange for Dan gave me a gift card to CD Exchange or DVD Exchange, whatever you want to call it here.
For
Christmas.
Right? Yeah.
For Christmas. So I picked up Blacklight Burns, 1349, Under Oath, a Queensryche record, High on Fire, After the Burial, Tomahawk, and Alanis Morissette.
I thought you had the Alanis Morissette.
I did. I gave it to my ex-wife and never got it back. So I repurchased it.
Gotcha.
And plus, for whatever reason, the booklet was ripped in that old copy, so now I have a full booklet and everything. So that makes me feel a lot better. All right, and other things I listened to here, I finally got the newest release from Astronoid, self-titled album that was actually released on February 1st, but I didn't get it until this week.
Yeah, that took a long-ass time.
Yeah, I'm not sure why, but it was worth the wait.
Yeah.
That will be in the top 3, so I won't go into too much detail. I woke up really early Saturday morning, and I was in the mood for something relatively quiet, so I went back to one of my top 3s from years ago, the Cowan record, Sonari Nai, or whatever. And then, if you listen to our S5 episode last week, I featured a band called Profusion, progressive metal from Italy, and their album was just too good for me to pass up, and I purchased that and listened to that this week as well.
Right on.
And then on top of that, I listened to this new song from Devin Townsend, the new song from Mark Morton, and Wolf God by Graham Agus.
Yeah, I saw you posted that on Twitter.
Yep.
I haven't listened to it yet. But
pretty much picking up exactly where songs left off. Not a bad thing. And it's now available for pre-order on Amazon, so I pre-ordered that bitch. And I'm super stoked to get that one in, I believe it's April.
Sweet. I just listened to the new stuff that I was talking about, going through all the new releases for this past Friday. And like I said, Archer Nation and Moonglow, of course, and the Demon Head album, The Ghost Next Door, the Soen album, and there was a few others that I listened to, but I took them. I don't remember what they were because I took them off the top 3 list, like because that's how I do the top 3 preparation. Is I decide whether or not I sit there and listen to it for a little bit, and I go, okay, this is cool. I'll move it up here, and then later on, it's like going shopping basically.
Yeah.
You got a stack full of CDs. You go, I can't buy all of these.
Then you start whittling down.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was doing, and I can't remember all of them, unfortunately. But one, God, there was one. Was it called Spirits of Fire or something like that? There's a new band with Chris Caffrey, Tim Ripper Owens.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I listened to some of that, and that was good. That was good. Straightforward, traditional, kind of heavy metal, but it was good for the 3-4 tracks I listened to. I was listening. Completely forgot that it was a thing, and I'm sitting there saying like that's Tim Ripper Owens, like you know that can't be anybody else. And of course, I'm sitting there watching it, and he's wearing a hat with a Monster Energy drink logo on it. And I'm like, that's definitely Tim Ripper Owens.
I should also mention that I've also been listening. I got my next 5 for the next episode of the S5. So I am lined up, ready to go. Just got to write up the script for it. And I found some really good rock and roll, hard rock, it's a little bit of extreme metal here and there. I got a good mix this time.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
I have a bunch that I well, not a bunch. I have 3 that I had prepared previously from when I was still working on it last year, and then there's a bunch that we got recently that I'm adding in, and then we're going back to normal format where we do new band and then old song, new band, old song, and then some old songs. So
Yeah.
they're gonna be stacked episodes, probably somewhere around like 20 songs or so.
Sweet.
So
Well, one band impressed me so much that I actually went out and bought their record as well this week. So hopefully that comes in the early parts of next week. So
Gotcha.
I'm super excited about that, and it's been a lot of fun going through my old Instagram requests and finding a lot of these bands out.
Yeah, I gotta run through our Twitter account and the rest of our messages on Facebook, which the messages on Facebook I've gone through a fair amount in the past. So thankfully we're getting closer and closer each time to fulfilling everything in the list there. So then we can stick to all the stuff that we get by email, because we get a shit ton by email.
I know. Since I hooked up the email to my phone, it's been pretty
goes,
stacked up.
Yeah, it goes. Well, one of them is a mailing list thing that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but the rest of it, like anytime you see something from like Asher Media, like always cool stuff, and that's where a lot of our stuff comes from.
Cool.
So let's go on to some general news.
All right. Metal Blade Records has welcomed Fate's Warning to its worldwide roster.
I thought Fate's Warning was already on Metal Blade. In fact,
I believe, if I remember reading this correctly, this is a return to Metal Blade Records.
okay, yeah, because definitely they definitely were on at one point, because I have a whole bunch of cassettes of theirs from Metal Blade Records.
Yeah, I believe this is a return to Metal Blade Records.
Really? Oh, I wonder why they left.
All right. Okay. So the family of Bernie Torme says that there has been no improvement in the guitarist's health after he was hospitalized with double pneumonia. He was reported that the Irish musician was extremely ill and that has since been placed on a ventilator. He is known for stepping in and saving the day for Ozzy when Randy Rhoads tragically died. Ozzy and Bernie hadn't seen each other since the 80s after Bernie left the band, before reconnecting last summer at the Sweden Rock Festival. Torme also toured the world as the lead axeman in Gillian and formed Desperado with Twisted Sister frontman Dee Snider and ex-Iron Maiden drummer Clive Burr, as well as fronting his own bands Electric Gypsies and Torme, which features Phil Lewis of LA Guns fame. And there's been no update since I copied and pasted that one.
Gotcha. But double pneumonia?
Yeah.
Like, that's just...
It sounds like double secret probation from Animal House. It doesn't sound good.
No, it does not. It does not sound good at all. It's like, pneumonia is bad enough. So...
All right. Deicide have parted ways with guitarist Mark English and have replaced him with Chris Cannella.
Okay.
According to Variety, a new documentary film focusing on the life of Soundgarden and Audio Slave frontman Chris Cornell is in the works. The film will be produced by Cornell's widow, Vicky, along with Brad Pitt and Peter Berg's Film 45 production company. Berg, who has done Lone Survivor, Deepwater Horizon, and The Rundown, will direct.
Pete Berg.
Pete Berg. All right. Next up here, we got Michael Schenker's Michael Schenker Fest featuring Michael Schenker. That project has recruited drummers Simon Phillips and Bodo Schopf, following the recent passing of Ted McKenna. Simon, who played on the Michael Schenker Group debut album, will return as the main drummer on the upcoming second Michael Schenker Fest LP. Due to his schedule, he's unable to be the live drummer for the upcoming U.S. tour. This role will be completed by Bodo Schopf, who played on Perfect Timing and Save Yourself. With the sudden passing of McKenna, Bodo will be featured on the upcoming record, but in a smaller role as he had the important job of preparing for the U.S. tour.
There's so much, just so much.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, the Foo Fighters were forced to reschedule their two-night grand opening of the Fillmore New Orleans, the multi-million-dollar live music venue inside of Harrah's New Orleans casino, because Dave Grohl finally underwent a much-needed surgery on his left arm. During a conversation with Live Nation president and CEO Michael Rapino at the Polestar Live conference in Los Angeles, Grohl said, "This is something I've had to deal with for a long time, and it's not the end of the world, but I did have to have surgery on my arm because I needed to pay the rent. I knew I had to fix my arm at some point, and I went ahead and did it. The February 15th through 16th dates have been rescheduled for May 15th and 16th. All tickets for the original dates will be honored."
That's good. That's good as far as the well, A, he's getting fixed up, and B, all the original tickets will be honored.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
So hopefully things go smooth there and no shenanigans.
Well, I just think the best thing that he's ever done is play in the Throne. Then he lent out to Guns N' Roses.
I mean, technically, he could still technically play. I mean, like he can get somebody else to play the guitar for him, and he can sing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he could do what
James Hetfield did when he got burnt up.
Yeah.
Well, according to Rolling Stone, the documentary concert film Alice Cooper Live from the AstroTurf will premiere this April at the Phoenix Film Festival before the film embarks on the film festival circuit. In October 2015, Alice Cooper reunited with the surviving members of the original lineup of his band, bassist Dennis Dunaway, guitarist Michael Bruce, and drummer Neil Smith, for the first time since 2011, when they staged a pair of performances coinciding with their induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as well as their appearance on Cooper's Welcome to My Nightmare LP, the second one.
Yeah.
Guitarist Ryan Roxy, a member of Cooper's current band, stepped in for original member Glenn Buxton, who died in 1997.
And I guess it's a newer one. It's a newer Alice Cooper. Because it's saying that it's a new film that's going to have them reuniting. Is it going to be something like from back in the day, or is it something more?
It's from this performance in 2015.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So there's a documentary about it.
Cool. That's cool.
All right. Spanish metalers Lords of Black have recruited Diego Valdez as their new singer. Diego joins the band as a replacement for Ronnie Romeo, who exited Lords of Black last month. Ronnie Romeo is the new leader of Rainbow, or Richie Blackmore's Rainbow.
Wow, that's kind of a shame because Lords of Black is kind of awesome, but Dreamchild is kind of awesome too. So
yeah,
Dreamchild was apparently
one of the bands that Diego Valdez has been involved in.
Yeah, but wow, I did not know that he had left the band.
Yeah,
and they just released an album too, like within the last 4 months, because they were on one of my top threes. Yeah, that's kind of. I guess he's promoting. He's putting more time into Rainbow.
Yeah, which makes me wonder if the Rainbow's actually going to be doing new music.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, considering that the last 30 years, Richie Blackmore's only recorded stuff for Blackmore's Night.
Yeah, and then that's gotta get the rock out.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes. All right, so we were wondering about this before, but Lamb of God guitarist Mark Morton has recruited vocalist Mark Morales of Sons of Texas, guitarist Doc Coyle of Bad Wolves and God Forbid, bassist Nick Villarreal of Sons of Texas, and drummer Art Cruz, who's played with Prong, Winds of Plague, and Lamb of God, to join him on his upcoming tour in support of his debut album, Anesthetic.
That's not a bad lineup at all.
No, not at all.
No, especially since it's, Doc Coyle. You were just saying that the world needs more Doc Coyle.
Yeah, it was. I mean, if there's one band that really could that the world would benefit from a comeback from, it is God Forbid. Like, I remember seeing them live at what was a Crazy Donkey. I don't even know what they called it at the time that I saw them. But the unfortunate thing is that there was nobody there for that show. Like, literally, it was me, my ex-wife, and a couple other people. And I felt so bad because they put on such a good show for like 5 people. Almost like that time we saw Archer Nation.
Yeah, that was... support music, goddammit.
Get out there and do something.
I mean, I'm surprised, and how much were tickets for this show?
It wasn't, we're talking like 12 years ago, 12 years ago, so I really don't remember.
Yeah, so...
But, I mean, the main reason I was there was because my friend's band was playing the show. He opened up the show with one of his bands. I was like, hell yeah, I'll stick around. I'll catch God Forbid. Are you kidding me? Of course I'm going to stick around for that. It wasn't... there was only a few of us who did.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame because, they were... I mean, they were a name.
Yeah, they were.
And they still are a name. And people like yourself will wish for them to come back and everything. It's like I hope it's not things like that keep them from...
Yeah. I mean, it's just disappointing when you hear so many people complain or bitch about, like, we want this classic lineup of this particular band to come back. It's like, what about bands that were actually, like, really good who didn't deserve to end when they did?
Yeah.
I don't really want to hear about, a Sepultura reunion. Who cares?
Yeah.
They're doing just fine.
They're doing fine.
Their
They're
own
doing
way.
fine separately as far as Sepultura and as
what
far
about,
as Soulfly.
What about a band like God Forbid coming back, or 3 Inches of Blood making a comeback?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bands that ended way before they needed to. And then we also have bands who stick around for too long.
Yeah.
Like Limp Bizkit's still around, but God Forbid's not doing anything.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Well, at least they're keeping... The individuals are keeping busy for the most part.
Clearly.
Yeah, but still, it's like... You're absolutely right. Limp Bizkit's still around, Jesus.
Yeah. Let that sink in just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. All right, so...
Too much.
I know.
I need to go lay down.
According to Deadline, Deftones frontman Chino Moreno served as a composer for the first 2 new installments of Hulu's Into the Dark horror event series from Blumhouse, actually, television. All right, so the April Fool's Day themed "I'm Just Fucking With You" will premiere on Friday, April 5th.
That's not April Fool's Day.
Okay, whatever. Into the Dark is a monthly horror anthology featuring 12 supersized episodes inspired by a holiday. I'm Just Fucking With You tells the story of a man and his sister on the way to a family wedding who endure a night of increasingly frightening practical jokes during a one-night stay at a secluded motel.
I mean, I'm not a fan of horror, so I'm not... I think I saw the commercial for one of the versions of this.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Hulu.
I saw the one for Valentine's Day, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I saw one for Valentine's Day. But I can't remember. Anyway, not a big deal.
But it's cool that I really like that some of these metal artists are kind of expanding their palette into music and film. Specifically, like we got, Trent Reznor, and he's not just doing little movies either. He's doing big movies.
He's been doing scores for
Yeah.
a long time.
Well, that's what Chino's doing here. He's doing a composer. I guess he's doing the score for this particular episode of the
I
show.
remember a few years ago, there was a monster movie that starred Lordy. Like,
That doesn't surprise me
yeah,
whatsoever.
it was called Dark Floors.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
No, it definitely does not, considering their look and everything. I'm surprised they don't do it more.
Right.
You know, so.
All right. Next up here, we got Epica guitarist Isaac Delahane. He released his first 6 courses as part of College of Metal, an online educational metal music platform that enables anyone to learn from the best metal musicians in the world. Unlike most guitar lessons, artists at College of Metal focus on songs rather than on technique exclusively. That's why every individual course is a walkthrough of a song, explaining whatever techniques are used in the context of that specific song. All courses have 3 camera views, including close-ups of both left and right hands. Every lesson includes accurate guitar tabs, reviewed by the guitarist himself. Also explains any differences between the recorded parts and the way he's playing them in an ever-changing live environment.
Makes you think of that the one from Metalocalypse, where they had Swissgar do the thing, and he just kept playing it really fast.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Edward, wake up.
I'm your new god. All right, Borknagar have announced the departure of vocalist Andreas Hedlund from the band due to, quote, personal reasons. In light of the news, bassist Simon Hestenes will once again be taking on the vocal duties in the band. Apparently, this is a very amicable split. Both the band and Andreas issued a statement saying that this is just kind of like a tough decision that had to be made.
That, I think, is one of the ex-members of Dimmu Borgir.
Oh, ICS Vortex?
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think he's was doing clean vocals. So I can't remember, but he definitely was an ex-member of Dimmu Borgir.
And I'm not very familiar with Borknagar, except for I think it was Pete reviewed them for the podcast a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And he really enjoyed them, so
Yeah.
definitely something to keep in mind.
Speaking of which, Pete, I still have your Christmas gift.
Are you listening, Pete?
Are you listening, Pete?
Peter. Speaking of Peter Frampton exclusively spoke with CBS This Morning Saturday correspondent Anthony Mason about living with the autoimmune disease inclusion body myositis. Myositis, yes.
Yeah.
Or otherwise known as IBM. It is a progressive muscle disorder characterized by muscle inflammation, weakness, and atrophy. While Frampton remains at the top of his game, having recently performed as part of the I Am the Highway, a tribute to Chris Cornell concert, as well as receiving the Les Paul Innovation Award at the 2019 NAMM show, he has decided to retire from regular, vigorous touring at the end of this year. As a result, he has confirmed plans for Peter Frampton Finale, the Farewell Tour. Presented by SiriusXM, it is an approximately 40-date run this summer and fall, and is going to be produced by Live Nation.
Well, that's good. And I mean, it sucks that he. From what I understand, this is a rare disorder.
Yeah, it's rare.
Yeah.
That's kind of the headline.
But
of
at least he's not trying to fight against it. He's saying, it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Unlike some of other people.
Yeah. So. But,
all right. So unfortunately, I don't have anything for feuding today. And unfortunately, I have nothing for Alcoholica.
So no one's making beer this week.
No one's making beer this week. However, I made a new section here called
Merchandising. I'll get that clip.
Yes, please. Please. All right, so no surprise here, and we have talked about this already.
Slayer the Flamethrower.
Slayer the Flamethrower. No, the Slayer have signed a deal with designer toy and apparel company Super 7 to create the Show No Mercy reaction figure. Global Merchandising Services, Slayer's worldwide agent, brokered the deal. Super 7's Show No Mercy reaction figure sees the Minotaur from Slayer's 1983 debut album reimagined as a 3.75-inch toy. Yeah, it's a toy.
Yeah.
All right, the Show No Mercy reaction figure will be released this month at New York Toy Fair.
I wonder how people feel about that, using the word toy. It's an action figure. But we've talked about this in the recent past, about them making this. And I think last time we talked about how ugly it is.
Yes.
It
like
is.
they really took the picture of that album and made it into a toy. And
It
the thing
is.
is that picture is not very good.
It is ugly. Yeah, it is no good. No bueno. No bueno.
No bueno.
No bueno.
All right, well, here's one here. Led Zeppelin has teamed up with the Vans clothing company to launch officially licensed shoes.
Really?
2 versions of Zeppelin shoes will be made available. First up, the Era features a black leather upper emblazoned with the symbols featured in the album art for Led Zeppelin 4. Second, the Skate High features the image of the Hindenburg from the band's eponymous 1969 debut. There will also be what looks like 2 Vans and Led Zeppelin T-shirts and a ball cap.
So basically, this is more fuel for that fire of you don't even listen to the band, but you own like a T-shirt from them.
Well, there's more. Check this one out.
Uh,
Eddie Van Halen's store. He has his own store. All right, has released a commemorative shoe, the 1978 high top, honoring the occasion of Eddie's groundbreaking debut to the world stage with the release of the first Van Halen album, some 40 years ago. Adding to the growing collection of footwear offered by the EVH brand, the 1978 high tops are a black and white classic high top sneaker. The outer side features a live photo of Eddie Van Halen playing guitar on the first world tour, and the inner side of the shoe has 1978 prominently displayed in a circular badge. The Eddie Van Halen logo appears on both the tongue of the shoe and on the back sole, and the back panel features his signature white and black striped pattern. The 1978 shoe high tops and additional apparel merchandise can be purchased at eddievanhalenstore.com.
Now, I'm willing to bet that these things are expensive as hell.
$65.
That's actually not bad.
No,
For a shoe, that's not bad.
And the funny thing is, they look just like Converse.
See, the thing is, like, with a band like Van Halen, with something like this, like, I don't understand them making shoes. Because shoes just get worn out very quickly and dirty and everything. With shoes, I would end up buying, like, if I were the type to buy memorabilia like this, I would buy 2. One to store, one to keep in a box, and one to actually wear. And I think for Van Halen, the only way I would buy a Van Halen shoe is if it was just that the design of his. Yeah, exactly.
Right there.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's
Yep.
the only way that I would buy. Like, that's the design of his guitar. If the entire shoe was the design of his guitar, that's what I would buy.
Yep. And that's pretty much what he has also available. Again, these look just like Converse sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a fan of Converse All Stars like I am,
Yeah.
these are right up your alley.
Yeah.
But this is his own brand. This is the Eddie Van Halen brand. So this really has nothing to do with Van Halen, the band itself.
No.
It just has to do with Eddie Van Halen,
Yeah.
who was in Van Halen. You know, so I think it's kind of cool. You know, and again, it's not as highly priced as you would expect, except
Yeah.
maybe the T-shirt that they have available here is $34. That's a little
expensive.
high.
But $65 for a shoe is not bad, considering that some go for like hundreds just for a pair of shoes that you're gonna dirty.
And the fact of the matter is that like your collectible or your specialty Converse shoes will cost the same exact amount. Mm-hmm. Like I have the Grateful Dead pair that are probably about that much money. Mm-hmm. There's probably like the Pink Floyd ones are probably similar. So it's right in the price range. I think he knows exactly what he's doing here.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. As long as Memorabilia is fine. Just keep it like as far as price wise, keep it sensible, please.
Yeah, and tasteful.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of memorabilia, that Trooper toy that I had I threw it away. I wasn't gonna glue it back together. It was in too many pieces.
That's such a shame.
Yeah, Edward. I'm looking at you over there.
Edward the Great ain't so great.
Yeah, you and Icarus destroying my toys.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah, my new cat is sleeping in the sun. Like, yeah, I destroyed your shit, you punk ass.
All right. Well, that's it for merchandising. You know, we will get to the flamethrower later.
Okay. Flamethrower.
The breakfast cereal.
Cannibal Corpse, the flamethrower.
Actually, Cannibal Corpse, the breakfast cereal are probably really good little bits of entrails here and there. You know.
They're all just different colors. They're all blood splattered and everything.
Yeah.
Blood splattered marshmallows.
We need to get on this right now.
Yeah, that's what we need more of. Breakfast cereals. Get on that, guys.
Come on now.
Come on. Breakfast
Come
cereal.
on. I really want some Opeth O's right now.
Yeah.
Nothing but black Opeth O's.
My cereal has a message for me. It says, ooh.
You're eating Cheerios. Okay, here we go. Recording news. Austrian symphonic metalers Edenbridge will release their 10th studio album, Dynamind, later in the year via Steam Hammer, SPV. All right. Vocalist Mark Barney Greenway of Napalm Death spoke to Metal Underground about the progress of the recording sessions for the follow-up to the 2015 album Apex Predator, Easy Meat. He is quoted as saying, "Most of the music is done. I've been working on vocals. I'm more or less halfway through, so there's a bit more to do. But of course, then we've got to look at things like artwork and all the various other things."
I think that was coming out or had just come out when we saw them live opening for Faith No More.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And what they played from it at that show was awesome. So.
Well, we will always credit Napalm Death for the band that got Dan a little bit more interested in grindcore.
Yeah, or just generally slightly heavier music. Because I've found some really interesting stuff in the genre of in the heavier side of the genre of metal since then, and it's been quite intriguing and eye-opening. All right, next.
All right, so next month, Fates Warning will be head back out on the road with Queensryche, touring the U.S. in support of 2018's Alive Over Europe. But after the conclusion of this trek, they will begin work on their 13th studio album set for a 2020 release.
Unrelated thing. This is all cool. I'm hoping that if Queensryche comes around here and Fates Warning comes, I'll see them. Remember we were talking about Metal Church and Doro opening up for them?
Yes.
Okay. I found out that she is skipping all of Texas.
Oh. Oh.
Like, she's playing everything else except for Texas.
Damn, that sucks.
It's so cold, it hurts.
Wow.
Yeah, because I saw a flyer for it, and I was just like Doro's opening for this, and then like, all of Texas is just like, nope. Like, oh.
She's like, meh.
I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me, because I would love to see her again.
I was gonna say if I was gonna make myself go to see a show, it probably would have been that one.
Yeah, because I've seen her live. She puts on a great show. Unfortunately, she was playing on a small stage. If you watch her play on the 25th anniversary thing, like she can own a big stage.
I bet.
Yeah, with her band. So yeah, she's definitely a good front woman.
All right, so here's for you, and Iron Maiden collecting and everything. BMG will continue their reissues, their series of reissues for the Iron Maiden catalog with the second set of Digipack CD titles in the Studio Collections Remastered to be released on March 22nd. following on from 2014 and 2017's Black Vinyl releases and 2015's Mastered for iTunes project. The Studio Collection Remastered features recordings taken from the same masters as the 2015 high-res digital releases. The albums supersede the previously available studio catalog, and all titles will also be made available on streaming platforms. As a bonus for collectors, one CD from each batch of releases will also be optionally available in a specially artworked box featuring a 1 24th scale figurine and exclusive patch. In the March 22nd batch, this will be Somewhere in Time. All 4 albums in this second batch are available for pre-order now from studiocollection.ironmaiden.com.
Yeah, I've picked up all Iron Maiden stuff. I don't need to collect more.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah, I've even years ago I slowed down on the Arion stuff. I still have a shit ton of Arion stuff. I still need one more thing to make myself feel complete, which is like an old single.
The Pick of Destiny.
It's kind of like that. It's a single for A Stranger from Within. So once I get my hands on that, then I'll feel complete. But that's gonna be like, I spent $40 on a single for one of the previous single, and I beat out somebody on one of the forums on Arion's website for it. We had a moment.
I'm going to say, Dan, you're getting a little white knuckle over here. Like, you kind of calm down.
No, because I was actually the thing. Like, I used to use the forums for, like, the Arion forums and whatnot, and I used to try to keep up with those kind of things. But like, after like 2 weeks, I stop. It's kind of like how I do things with like social media. Like, I'll use it for like a little while, and then I'll just stop for a little while. But I try to pick up social media back up, especially for Shred Shack, because it's our means of communicating with our audience. But I ended up encountering the person that I beat out for this single, and I was like, oh.
Like in person?
Like not in person.
Oh, I was gonna say,
he was apparently one of the moderators, or became one of the moderators for the site, and I was like, oh, so
hi.
So sorry, not sorry.
All's fair.
All's well, not really. It was that sniping bullshit. we were like watching it. Refresh, enhance.
All right. Memoriam is a Birmingham, United Kingdom-based death grind metal band featuring Carl Willits of Bolt Thrower on vocals, Frank Healy of Benediction and Cerebral Fix on bass, Scott Fairfax from Cerebral Fix on guitar, and Andy Whale from Bolt Thrower on drums. They have entered Parlour Studios in Kettering, UK, to begin recording its third album with renowned producer Russ Russell, who has worked with Napalm Death, Dimmu Borgir, At the Gates, and Amrphis. A summer release via Nuclear Blast is expected.
That's a pedigree, right there.
Yep. Veteran British metalers Tank will release their new album Reignition on April 26th via Cleopatra Records, but also Rubicon Music in Japan. The LP is a tribute to the early days of Tank and feature 11 classic Tank songs chosen from the first 4 albums, which were originally released in the early 80s. Those first 4 albums are Filth Hounds of Hades, Power of the Hunter, This Means War, and Honor and Blood. Reignition also features 2 very special guest appearances, Cradle of Filth frontman Danny Filth and thrash legend Tom Angel Ripper of Sodom. Both add their unique style and energy to this already formidable album.
I was going to say, I was like, well, I wonder what they could possibly contribute to it, considering their styles. Because they are not the same whatsoever.
So we will see.
Yeah.
Vader will release a new EP titled Thy Messenger in late spring or early summer. The effort will contain 4 of the 5 songs that were recorded over a week-long period in January and February at Hertz Studio in Białystok under the supervision of the Wilaski brothers. The cover art was painted by Wes Benscotter, who previously worked with Vader on the De Profundis LP, and has collaborated with such bands as Slayer, Creator, and Sinister. A new full Vader album will be recorded later this year for a tentative fall release.
I like how it says under the supervision of, like they're being treated like children.
Right?
Hey,
Hey.
get back there, play that
You
guitar.
get your juice off the mixing board. You should be drinking through a straw. Anyway, Alter Bridge is tentatively planning to release the follow-up to 2016's The Last Hero album in October.
Wow, it's been that long.
Right?
Yeah.
I thought we were just talking about that album.
Yeah, I have that album. That's like the one Alter Bridge album I have.
Well, Alter Bridge has been busy.
Yes.
You know, Mark Tremonti is doing Tremonti.
And Miles Kennedy
is doing Slash featuring
with
Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators and the Pips.
featuring Miles
and
Kennedy.
then, you know, he's just a busy man. All right, next up, Kittie will release a new concert film titled Kittie live at the London Music Hall on March 26th. It features footage of the Canadian metal band's October 27, 2017 20th anniversary hometown show at the London Music Hall in London, Ontario, not London, England. The event, which also served as a screening of the long-in-the-making documentary Kittie, Origins and Evolution, saw Kittie mainstays Morgan Lander and Mercedes Lander take the stage with a number of former bandmates to perform songs from the group's entire repertoire.
That's cool that they bring out the ex-members and everything.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Chester Bennington's former bandmates in his first group, the Phoenix, Arizona-based post-grunge act Grey Days, have announced plans to re-record their old material with the help of the late Linkin Park frontman's family and friends. Among the guest musicians to appear on the recordings are Chester's 22-year-old son Jamie, Korn's head and Monkey, POD's Marcos Curl, Bush's Chris Traynor, as well as Ryan Shuck, Chester Bennington's bandmate in Dead by Sunrise.
I never heard of Dead by Sunrise.
Neither have I.
Okay.
But it's just interesting to see them re-recording stuff from a band that didn't do anything really.
I've heard if early Linkin Park is anything to go by, then this might be interesting.
Like before Hybrid Theory?
Yeah, before Hybrid Theory, because their EP before Hybrid Theory was actually really, really good. So if they played in a similar way, which I don't think they did, they're saying post grunge and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Life of Agony has entered the studio with esteemed producer Sylvia Massey, who's worked with Tool and System of a Down, to begin recording its sixth album, The Sound of Scars, due this fall via Napalm Records. Oh, okay, yeah, there you go. All right, the recording sessions are taking place at Sylvia's Studio Divine in Ashland, Oregon. Additional recording will take place at various studios in New York. Macy will also handle the mixing duties for the album.
Well.
Recording sessions are underway for Insomnium's 8th studio album. Initial sessions are taking place at SF Studio in Kimo Percurio Engineering. Oh, with Kimo Percurio Engineering. After which the band will continue at Timu Aalto Music Productions in Finland.
This is just too much.
Yeah, I know. But Jens Bogren, who we talked about a lot on this podcast, who's worked with Amon Amarth and Opeth, just to name a few, will later mix the record at Fascination Street Studios in Sweden.
Why does Fascination Street sound familiar?
We've talked about them before.
Okay.
I think people have recorded there
I
before.
thought it was something special, like super, like some super, super important band recorded there once or something like that.
No, I'm not particularly sure about that one,
Okay.
but I know we've mentioned Fascination Street Studios before in
Like
conversations
the
here.
Cure or something like that. It sounds like, you know.
It's not like we're talking about like Abbey Road or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
All right, The Damned Things will release a new album, High Crimes, on April 26th via Nuclear Blast. This is a supergroup comprised of members of Every Time I Die, Anthrax, and Fall Out Boy. They recently confirmed the addition of Alkaline Trio bassist Dan Andriano to its ranks. He replaces Josh Newton, who was in Every Time I Die, who hasn't been part of the band since it was reactivated 3 years ago. Also gone from the damn things is guitarist Rob Caggiano because he's doing Volbeat, obviously.
Yes.
But the other member of Anthrax that was in this band is Scott Ian.
Really?
Yes, he's the guitarist.
Of the damn things.
Yeah. The February 20th concert by Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators at Eventime Apollo in London, England was professionally filmed for a future release.
Okay. I mean, that's cool.
So whatever.
I haven't heard anything from this band. I would like to hear something sometime. I really need to pick up the one Slash's Snake Pit album I'm missing, which was awesome. I think it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's something else.
All right. Well, I actually got a crowdfunding tracker this time.
Okay, it's not through Pledge Music, is it?
No,
Okay,
it's
good.
GoFundMe. Here, it's Karina Greenan, who is the daughter of Judas Priest guitarist Glenn Tipton. She will take part in Barcelona, Spain's annual marathon next month to raise funds for the Glenn Tipton Parkinson's Foundation. Judas Priest launched the foundation as last June in honor of the musician who was suffering from the degenerative neurological disorder.
That's a mouthful.
Karina started a GoFundMe campaign to allow Priest fans and others to donate online. Her goal initially when this was posted was £2,500, and at the time she was up to 2,136. She has expanded her goal to £3,500, at which point she is now at 2,926 pounds.
Okay, not bad, not
Not
bad at all.
And it's been raised in only 14 days by only 82 people. So that's actually like some
That's a lot of money.
decent amount of chunk there
Yeah.
that people are donating. So that's good.
That's good.
That's good. So we'll keep up to date with that as long as it goes.
All right, let's talk about concert news.
Concert news. First up, festivals. Blaze Bayley, who fronted Iron Man,
I said, yes.
from 1994 to 1999, will be playing a special Maiden set list at festivals in 2019. Choosing songs from his era with the band, these shows will celebrate 25 years since Bayley joined Iron Maiden. This will be the first and last opportunity to see such a set list. All right. Next up here in festival news, not much as far as bands or anything like that, but Live Nation Entertainment, which is the world's leading live entertainment company, announced that it has acquired a majority stake in Tons of Rock, Norway's biggest rock and metal festival. Tons of Rock was founded in 2013 and has grown to be one of the leading festivals in Norway. It has become a national institution that attracts rock and metal music fans from across the world, and last year won Best Festival in Norway.
That's cool. Quick thing, going back to merchandising, I forgot to mention. Did you see the thing I posted on Twitter about Download Fest making their own Monopoly?
No,
Yeah, they have their own special edition Monopoly
that is interesting.
for Download Festival.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was like, what? That's cool.
That is super cool.
Yeah, I'm wondering what it's like. I kind of wish somebody would make like a heavy metal version of Monopoly.
I had the
Like-
Metallica one.
Well, I mean, like a general, like actually change that Trivial Pursuit.
Oh,
Trivial
yeah, that'd be wow.
That would be.
Remember the last time we played Trivial Pursuit? It was the Lord of the Rings version, and your answer to everything was Aragon, and it was
Yeah.
right about 50% of the time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it fucking was.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good. All right, touring news. You ready to go?
Yeah, ready
Here
to
we go. Bring Me the Horizon have canceled the last 2 shows of their U.S. tour. The concerts in Phoenix, Arizona, and Las Vegas, Nevada were called off due to singer Ollie Sykes' ruptured right vocal cord.
Ouch.
Yeah, that hurts. That's rough. All right, I Am Morbid, the band featuring former Morbid Angel members David Vincent on vocals and bass, and Tim Young on drums, alongside guitarist Bill Hudson, who has worked in Circle to Circle and Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and Ira Black from Metal Church and Lizzie Borden, will team up with Atrocity, Vital Remains, and Sadist for the Morbid Fest 2019 European tour in April.
Now, why did... I thought Morbid Angel was still a thing.
They are still a thing, but David Vincent left the band years ago.
Oh. Okay.
On doctor's orders, guitarist Niklas Angelin will sit out In Flames' upcoming North American tour and will be temporarily replaced by former Megadeth and current Act of Defiance axeman Chris Bodrick.
Cool.
Good replacement, by the way.
Yeah.
Way to go. All right, hashtag no San Antonio date. Coheed and Cambria have announced a major U.S. tour across North America in support of their new album, The Unheavenly Creatures.
Can't be that major if it's not coming to San Antonio.
For reals. Especially because of what they have also lined up here. Because the 26 city, The Unheavenly Sky tour will see the band performing across a range of venues from large theaters to outdoor amphitheaters this summer. Special guest Mastodon will join the band performing its renowned Crack the Sky album in its entirety. Every Time I Die will support on all dates.
Yeah, that's the lineup.
Yeah, just a little bit, because I would love to see Mastodon again.
Yeah.
Performing an album in its whole. Fuckers. Five Finger Death Punch have announced a series of new headlining U.S. shows and festival dates for July. Special guests including In This Moment will support on select show dates.
Right on.
Tom Morello will embark on a U.S. tour in May in support of his recently released solo album, The Atlas Underground. Prior to the run, the Rage Against the Machine and Prophets of Rage guitars will perform at Ultra Music Festival in Miami on March 29th. The 14-date Spring Trek will launch May 3rd at the Welcome to Rockville Festival in Jacksonville, Florida, and wrap up on May 24th at the end of the Rainbow Festival in George Washington. Literally, George Washington.
Really? You couldn't come up with anything else? I mean, come on.
Okay. Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson have just confirmed the 2018 leg of their notorious Twins of Evil tour, which Billboard said makes a big rock show feel like not only the right place to be, but also the best. This is quote unquote.
Yeah, so
Produced by Live Nation, the co-headlining North American summer tour, which is subtitled Hell Never Dies Tour 2019, kicks off in Baltimore, Maryland on July 9th and makes stops at Rock USA in Oshkosh, Wisconsin and Rockfest in Cadott, Wisconsin.
Are they coming here?
I did not see that.
I don't give a fuck.
Pretty much.
I would like to see Rob Zombie again because he puts on an awesome show.
He always does.
And
I don't even want to see Rob Zombie. I just want to see John 5 play live.
Yeah. I think I've seen John 5 play live.
Was he in Marilyn Manson's band the last time we saw him?
Might have been.
That's what I'm thinking.
I've only seen Manson twice, I think. So.
All right. Well, anyway, Ozzy Osbourne has canceled his shows in Australia, New Zealand, and Japan as part of his No More Tours 2. Ozzy recently developed pneumonia and has spent time in hospital. Thankfully, he is now through the worst part, says his wife Sharon, also his manager and general,
Keeper.
True. His doctors have advised that he stay at home to recuperate for a full 6 weeks with no travel. The latest concert cancellations come 2 weeks after Ozzy was admitted to the Keck Hospital of University of Southern California. Okay, amid fears he could develop pneumonia, which is potentially fatal for someone his age.
It's called No More Tours 2. There's a reason for that.
He keeps on saying, there's so many articles that he's like, all I said is that I'm not touring anymore. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop playing. It's like, you should.
Yeah.
You should. You should have stopped 15 years ago.
I mean, as much as I love Ozzy, dude, take this as a sign.
For real. If you're having this much trouble finishing a tour, it might be time to call it a day.
Yeah.
Okay. Killswitch Engage guitarist Joel Strotzel
Strotzel.
had to leave the band's European tour due to a family emergency. Killswitch Engage production stage manager Josh Milik filled in for Joel for a few songs at the final 2 shows of the band's Trek in Vienna and Prague. Other than those few songs that he played on, they were performing as a 4-piece.
Yeah, I was going to say, I guess, what's his name?
Adam D.
Adam D. was playing by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sleep and Big Business have announced a spring tour together. Sleep will be touring on their latest album, The Sciences, while Big Business have a new record titled The Beast You Are, set for an April 12th release date.
Isn't Sleep the side project of somebody?
I'm not particularly sure. I did cover Big Business for the podcast a couple years ago, and I remember liking them.
Okay.
But a band I really like, Catatonia, will celebrate the 10th anniversary of their album Night is the New Day this year with a series of full album performances. In addition to that, Peaceville are preparing to release a deluxe edition of the album on May 17th with new cover art done by Travis Smith, a new 5.1 remix done by Bruce Sword, and new sleeve notes done by Dom Lawson.
Right on.
Now, this is very good news because in December of 2017, I think it was, they announced that they were taking a short hiatus. And this is their comeback from that hiatus, hoping, on my end, for a new album. Because their last 3 albums were spectacular.
Yeah. Well, didn't they come up with one 2 years ago?
The Fall of Hearts?
Yeah.
That was in 2016. That was a top. That was 3 years ago now. So that was in my top 3 for that particular month. Probably number 1.
Probably.
Greta Van Fleet have been forced to postpone their European tour after singer Josh Kiska failed to recover from the upper respiratory infection, which led to the earlier cancellation of the band's dates in Australia.
I mean, it's Greta Van Fleet, so they can sit there and enjoy their Grammy win for a little while.
Yep. All right, one-offs. San Francisco Bay Area thrashers Violence will play an exclusive European reunion show at the Alcatraz Hard Rock and Metal Festival set to take place August 9th through the 10th in Belgium. 9th through the 11th in Belgium.
Right on.
Def Leppard's second Las Vegas residency will take place this summer. The band will take over Zappos Theater and Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino for 12 explosive nights between August 14th and September 7th.
Copy and paste?
You better believe it. You ready for the next copy and paste one? Check this one out. Due to extraordinary demand.
Extraordinary.
Aerosmith has announced 17 additional dates for their headlining Las Vegas residency at Park Theater at the new Park MGM Resort. America's all-time top-selling rock and roll band will launch Aerosmith Deuces Are Wild on Saturday, April 6th.
So they're just playing at Las Vegas?
Yeah.
That's it?
Well, that's what a residency is.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, can't they go do a final tour instead of, you know, and then let Steve Vitale go off into the sunset and do country music? Shudder.
Well, here's a cool one. Queen and Adam Lambert will perform at the 91st Academy Awards. It was announced this week. The 91st Academy Awards take place February 24th and air live on ABC at 8 p.m. So that would be tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the night of recording.
Yeah, the night of recording.
Yeah, so that would be last night for those of you who are listening to it on day one, who you should be listening to this on day one. Shut up, Lindsay.
If you tell anyone. Anyway, last but not least here for one-offs is the Ghost Inside have officially announced their live return with the band booked to play the Shrine in Los Angeles, California on Saturday, July 13th. The show will be the band's first since a November 2015 bus crash left them with life-changing injuries that took years of recovery to be able to play again. The crash also claimed the lives of both their bus driver and the driver of the other vehicle.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember...
We've been covering this bus crash for a long time.
We started this podcast in August of 2015, so we've been covering this since...
The inception of our podcast, yes.
Yeah,
If you guys are looking for a running theme besides the fact that I can't pronounce shit, it's the Ghost Inside bus crash.
Yeah, that's just rough. All right, so let's talk about heavy metal in the charts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we got some noteworthy points first before we go into it. According to Billboard, Ghost has landed its third consecutive number one on Billboard's mainstream rock songs airplay chart with its latest single, Dance Macabre. The second single from the band's 2018 album Prequel follows Rats, which topped the chart for 7 weeks beginning last July. Ghost scored its first number one for 2 weeks in 2017 with Square Hammer, the opening track from its Popestar EP.
I think that if they had opened their if they had their first single was Dance Macabre, they might have had more of a chance of winning the Grammy.
Yeah.
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 It was definitely poppy enough for radio. Go on.
The Blizzard of Oz has been certified quintuple platinum in the U.S. by the RIAA after accumulating 5 million certified units. The February 4th recognition comes more than 2 decades since the LP was certified quadruple platinum on August 15th of 1997. Also certified on February 4th was Ozzy's 2003 greatest hits album, The Essential Ozzy Osbourne, which went double platinum after accumulating 2 million certified units. That collection was previously certified platinum on March 3rd, 2016.
That's a lot of crazy, Train.
Whole lot of it.
Yeah, and I guess I'm gonna guess they kind of mix up which album they're playing.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely a matter of streaming at this
For
point.
sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah. But still very cool. The whole streaming thing, as far as counting towards
Sales.
has definitely pushed some numbers, and this is one of those examples.
Yep. All right, last but not least here of noteworthy points, because it probably won't be featured on this week's charts, but Within Temptation's newest album, Resist, debuted at number 129 on the top 200.
So that was last week.
That was last week's,
Okay.
yes.
So we'll see where they fall this week.
If they fall this week. If they fall this week. So let's get into the top 200, and as per usual, Dan likes to know the top 5.
Top 5.
Number 1 is the new release from Ariana Grande, Thank You Next.
Okay, that's not surprising.
Not surprising at all.
Don't care.
Number 2 is the A Star Is Born soundtrack.
Okay.
Number 3 is the Bohemian Rhapsody soundtrack.
Okay. Still up there.
Number 4 is Hoodie Season, A Boogie with the Hoodie.
Yeah, I still don't know what that is.
Yeah. And number 5 is Beer Bongs and Bentleys by Post Malone. Now, the scrolling.
What kind of bullshit is
Now
that?
the scrolling. The scrolling. All right, we are scrolling.
What kind of bullshit is that?
I don't know.
Ah,
All right, Queen's Greatest Hits is at number 32.
okay.
We're down from number 30 last week.
No, it's still
It's still in
good.
the top 50. Still in the top 50 here.
Queen is one of the greatest bands of all time. Okay, just that's
Everyone just needs to kind of accept it.
yeah.
Okay. Elton John's Diamonds, his greatest hits collection, or his collection of whatever, 62. Scrolling. Journey's greatest hits is at 75.
I should get a Rawhide on here.
Scrolling. Greatest hits 1, 2, and 3. The Platinum Collection by Queen is at number 83,
All right.
up from 144.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say we're at 83, but then
We are probably about to get. Seeing that the Academy Awards are this weekend.
yeah, that's true.
If Rami Malek wins, or if the movie wins, we might just see a little bit even more of an uptick with Queen
yeah,
in the following weeks.
which is not a problem in any way. shape,
Never,
or
of
form.
course, but it's just so funny that their music has seen such a resurgence. Like they needed it.
Yeah, I mean, it always happens. They get played on commercials all the time and everything. I still hear "I Want to Break Free" when I go to HEB.
That's the best. All right.
The best was hearing Rainbow in the Dark at 8 o'clock in the morning at Walmart. That was the best.
That's pretty awesome.
That was the best.
Wow. You don't hear that very often.
No, you don't hear that at all.
Somebody must have been sleeping at the controls on that one.
Seriously.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't hear that one.
All right. So anyway, continuing on here, we got Fleetwood Mac Rumors at 89. Wow. Creedence Clearwater Revival at 98. Rounding out the top 100 is the Essential Billy Joel. Greta Van Fleet is at number 118 with the Anthem of the Peaceful Army. Tom Petty's Greatest Hits, number 122. Thriller, 133.
Motherfucker can dance.
Motherfucker can dance. Abbey Road, 140. Beatles 145. Greatest Hits by Guns N' Roses at 150. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, Greatest Hits at 151. Man. Metallica, the Black Album was at 157. From the Fires, Greta Van Fleet re-entry into the top 200 at 160.
Probably because of the Grammy win.
A Decade of Destruction, Five Finger Death Punch is at 162.
Kajo
6. The Lego Movie 2, the soundtrack, is a new album, really debuting at 169. I saw the movie with the kids last weekend, and it is quite good.
Okay, I was about to ask you if you saw it yet.
Yeah, it's quite good. It's funny. It's a little bit more musical this time around, so it's really interesting how they did that. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Back in Black is at 174 from 169. The White Album is at 181. Bon Jovi's Greatest Hits is a re-entry at 184. Nevermind is at 185. Rolling Stones Hot Rocks is at 186. Leonard Skinner all-time Greatest Hits 193. And yeah, that's it for even. Oh well, we got Jim Croce.
That's okay.
Photographs and Memories, his Greatest Hits is a re-entry at 197.
Okay. Let's talk about hard rock.
Hard rock, heavy metal album charts, counting down from 25, 1X by 3 Days Grace.
Go away. just go away.
24, Mothership, Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
23, Attendance to Hell, Slipknot. 22, the re-entry of Hendrix, Experience Hendrix, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Jimi Hendrix. Number 21 is the self-titled album from Chris Cornell. Number 20 is Zeppelin 4. Number 19 is the Greatest Hits of Three Doors Down.
Go away.
Number 18 is Meteora by Linkin Park. Number 17 is All the Right Reasons by Nickelback. 16, Aerosmith's Greatest Hits.
Quick thing, have you seen? There's been a meme that's been going around lately of the baton toss.
From going from Nickelback to Imagine Dragons.
Yeah. I think they did one after the Super Bowl for Maroon 5.
Oh yeah.
But I've been seeing the one for Imagine Dragons a lot.
That's funny. Did we mention Aerosmith's Greatest Hits at number 16?
Yes.
How about The Story So Far, The Best of Def Leppard at number 15?
No, let's not mention that.
Oh, well, I just did.
No.
Greatest Hits by Foo Fighters at number 14.
Okay.
Evolution Disturbed, number 13. Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park, 12. Amo, Bring Me the Horizon, number 11. That was at number 3 last week. Greatest Hits, The Ultimate Collection by Bon Jovi is at number 10. Back in Black's number 9. A Decade of Destruction, Five Finger Death Punch at number 8. From the Fires by Greta Van Fleet, number 7. Metallica's Black Album, number 6. Guns N' Roses' Greatest Hits, number 5. Anthem of the Peaceful Army, Greta Van Fleet. And number 1, 2, and 3 belong to Queen.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Get some.
Numbers 1, 2, and 3. 2 greatest hits records, and the Bohemian Rhapsody soundtrack is number 1.
That's right. This is my time. This is my time. So happy. So happy.
All right, well, that rounds out the charts.
So let's go on to our discussion, which is about well, we might do this in 2 parts. Do the first part, which is going to be Grammy winners.
Yeah, because I think the best, favorite, worst, least favorite we should do next time.
Okay.
Say that for next time.
Okay. So then let's stick with good Grammy wins. You can start by.
All right, Greta Van Fleet was honored with a Grammy in the Best Rock Album category in the pre-telecast ceremony. The other nominees for the award belong to Alice in Chains' Rainier Fog, Fall Out Boy Mania, Ghost Prequel, and Weezer Pacific Daydream.
Okay. I'm surprised that Fall Out Boy is still a thing, personally.
Uh-huh.
So if they had won, I would have been a little like, what? Why?
Who?
Greta Van Fleet winning is not a surprise in any way, considering their popularity lately. Even though they do get a lot of I see a lot more hate for them than I do.
Yeah, the thing is, you see a lot more hate for them from rock fans, but general music fans really enjoy them because this is probably their gateway into rock music.
Yeah.
You know, because these kids are very young. I mean, people don't go out of their way to listen to Led Zeppelin as a new music fan anymore. But if you want a taste of what Led Zeppelin is as a new music fan, you have Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah.
You know, because they are a newer band. They just came out. They're young, you know. But you see more hate from them from the old guard, I would call it. You know, we've had this conversation before that heavy metal and hard rock fans are very close-minded.
Yeah.
And that's where you see the hate from.
Yeah. And that's where a lot of that hate is coming from, because, you know, that's what I end up seeing most of.
Yeah, because that's what we follow. That's what we have
Yeah.
in our timelines and stuff like that.
Yeah. I would have been surprised if Weezer had won, personally. Just because I don't I like Weezer. I just don't see them as a band needing a Grammy. You know, I would have liked to see Ghost, of course, because I do love that album. But all things considered, you know, obviously it bums me out that Alice in Chains doesn't win.
Yeah, of course.
It bums me out most. That's the thing that I'm upset the most about.
And I totally forgot that I listened to that Rainier Fog record this week too, and yeah, good shit.
It's a good album.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, they're up against Greta Van Fleet, and not even just their album; they're against their EP.
Yeah, that's true. It was the EP, not the actual record.
Yeah. So it's no surprise that Greta Van Fleet wins, but it sucks that, you know, it's at the expense of somebody I have a band that I have loved since I was a kid.
I was going to say since starting to listen to music almost.
Yeah. So it's kind of a shame, but again, we know the way things go.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next one.
Next one, Chris Cornell was honored with a Grammy in the Best Rock Performance category in the pre-telecast ceremony. He was nominated for the song When Bad Does Good from the career-spanning box set released by Universal last year. It marks his 3rd Grammy win. I
guess the other 2 were with Soundgarden?
I would only assume Soundgarden, maybe?
Yes, I think so, because I think I did some research when I did my Grammy article.
Oh, okay.
The article that somebody told me to go die for.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was because of the Deftones. It's because I don't like the Deftones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And they told me to go die.
But other nominees for the category were Arctic Monkeys, 4 out of 5, Fever 333, Made an American, Greta Van Fleet, Highway Tune, and Hailstorm, Uncomfortable.
Now I'm wondering because I can see I could have seen Greta Van Fleet or Hailstorm win this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm a little bit surprised that Chris Cornell won, and I'm wondering if it's a posthumous thing.
Yeah.
You know, like that kind of. Yeah.
Kind of like a tribute without being a tribute.
Yeah, exactly. Because as much as I like Chris Cornell, I haven't heard this track, so I can't say much about it. But I'm just.
I definitely could have seen Hailstorm walking away with it because they are a pretty rocking band. So
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know much more to say about that because I don't know the Arctic Monkeys at all, really. I don't know Fever 333.
yeah.
So
The only reason I keep on hearing the Arctic Monkeys is that I believe that Lars Ulrich was a big fan of theirs, and he kept on inviting them into the Orion Music Festival when that happened, and he kept on plugging them pretty hard.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, I don't know enough about those two bands to really say much here as far as their how they could contend for it. Let's go on to the last one.
last one here is cool. Is High on Fire was honored with a Grammy in the Best Metal Performance category in the pre-telecast. High on Fire was nominated for Electric Messiah, the title track to the 2018 album. So the other nominees in the category were Between the Buried and Me, Condemned to the Gallows, Deaf Heaven, Honeycomb, Trivium, Betrayer, and Under Oath on My Teeth.
It seems kind of like the picks for best metal kind of slim. Like why is Under Oath on there?
The thing is about this one is that it feels like they picked 5 guys from 5 different genres under the metal umbrella.
Yeah.
Because you got High on Fire, which is kind of like a almost, I wouldn't say sludgy, but they're a different kind of metal. They're not like Deaf Heaven, which is more of like a kind of almost extreme metal, a little bit of black atmospheric metal involved. Between the Buried and Me is very much more along the lines of
Metalcore, I guess.
Yeah. Under Oath is more of a metalcore band, and Trivium has kind of made their own path. They're not so much a metalcore band anymore because they kind of got rid of the screaming. They sing more, so I would almost put them under the category of thrash or traditional heavy metal.
Yeah.
So they really just picked and choosed like 5 different categories of metal and put it in the metal category to try and diversify it as much as possible. It feels like.
But plenty came out last year that they could have, I don't know. The way they pick these things is kind of strange.
I don't even know how they pick them. It's like, do they just like put their names in a hat?
Who knows?
I mean,
it's got to go through some sort of criteria. I guess.
And I also think that it's not like the Academy picks the songs. It's like the bands and the record labels put these songs in for consideration. Just like movies go into consideration for the Oscars, you have to put it in there. It's not just somebody at the Academy is like, oh, that was a good movie, let's put that in there. No, that's not how it works.
Oh.
There's at least from what I understand, you actually have to put names in for consideration, and there's campaigning and stuff like that.
So then there must be I would hope that the lack of some bands on those lists is a matter of like
People not giving a fuck.
Exactly. It's like, why bother? So
and then again, they might just be trying to pick different bands. Is like, you can't put Metallica, Megadeth, and these old hats in there every single year.
No, you can't.
So you have to try and get more people involved. And if you really want bands to care about it, you have to put different bands in every time. But then you also have to try and fucking televise the son of a bitch.
Yeah.
When you put them on the pre-telecast, nobody's going to care.
They're never going to do that. Speaking of things that they're never going to do and not showing certain things, you made a note in here about...
Yes. Every award show ever has an in memoriam section of the people who passed away in that previous year. And, of course, the Grammys excluded Vinnie Paul.
Yeah.
And I believe, and I'm pretty sure, this happens every single time a metal musician passes away. They are never recognized by the Grammy in memoriam section. I can almost guarantee Dio probably wasn't. Peter Steele.
Probably.
You know, it's just like...
And he wasn't the only one that passed away this year. We've
covered a lot.
We cover plenty of death,
but
unfortunately.
one of the biggest names in heavy metal,
Yeah.
you know, a music genre.
And a band that has topped the Billboard charts before.
Yes. Like, we're talking about a very popular musician excluded from the in memoriam section.
Yeah.
Just flat out ignored, which is just disappointing. You know, it just goes to show what these people care about or what they don't really.
Yeah.
So it just in general, it just feels like there's a lack of either knowledge or just a lack of care for a rather large genre of music that's been kicking around a lot longer than some of these other ones that they're celebrating so highly.
Yeah. So it's another slap in the face to metal, which is not unusual at this point. Yeah. I mean, you can't say you're surprised.
No, I'm not surprised at all, but
honestly.
just disappointed.
Yeah.
It's like your parents. Like, I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed. It's like even worse.
So
I got that one, so that was heartbreaking.
so the Grammys, we're not mad at you. We're just disappointed.
Right in the feels.
Yeah, they don't give a shit about us. Shred
Like, oh
Shack,
my
who
God,
the-
these two douchebags in San Antonio are so hurt. We gotta change things up. Like, no.
These two butthurt little bitches. No. But
Then they can literally say to get off our couch and do something about it. No, I'm good.
No,
I'm good.
We're doing plenty. We're doing as much as we can with what we have to push metal as much as we can. So shut up. Stupid Grammys. So on that note, we make our curtain call because Warrior needs a nap badly.
Fucking A, he does.
Yeah, Warrior's already got food. He needs a nap.
Yeah.
So until next time, I'm Dan Mack.
And this is Chris Mack.
And we are the Slime.